Welcome everybody, good morning to TechTalents. This is a day that we've been looking forward to for a couple of weeks. It's really exciting that you're joining us over this new channel, so we sent you a new link. Hopefully everybody is in there and will get the full amount of information with regards to TechTalent. We're really happy that we're now able to run this program fully digital, and it's a lot of students that we're actually expecting. We will talk about that later. My name is Thomas, I'm the Managing Director of TechQuartier, and right next to me is Timm from Eintracht Frankfurt. You will say something in a couple of seconds. We have been working for quite a while. So Eintracht and TechQuartier have joined forces quite a while ago, and we've done a lot of things, and our primary goal was always to foster innovation and to foster the collaboration of innovators amongst each other. And one important part is that we need more innovators. So especially in times like that, which we're currently seeing, we need people that actually develop solutions that are not only in the survival mode, that don't only try to solve or try to actually survive the crisis, but rather think in what's the chance in here, and what are the opportunities that I have. And this is exactly what we want to do with you in that program. So really happy to have more than 100 of young top talents in this program, joining forces and working on the solutions for a better tomorrow. We at TechQuartier, we've been doing that since the past 4 years. So we don't only run a space here in Frankfurt. So whenever, I know that a major part from you is from the region, but whenever somebody from the international students is here, feel free to come to TechQuartier and actually see and connect to more than 200 startups, connect to more than 20 corporate partners that work together all on developing technologies, developing solutions. Before we dive into the program and before we tell you more what you can actually expect, what the challenges are, we have really a fully packed day. You received our email yesterday with the details of what's going to happen today. So you will spend roughly 30 to 60 minutes with the both of us now. After that, you will have a session with our dear Sabrina and Melanie. They will run you through the details of the program. That will happen until from 11 till 12. Then you will have a short break of 1 hour where you can have lunch or do you whatever you prefer. This is the good thing about the digital solution. And then we have a talk and an interview at 1 with regards to sustainability with Hannes Offenbach. I'm really looking forward to that because part of the challenge, we'll come to that, will be on sustainability. And in the evening, another event, which is called Laptop and Leibchen. So you'll get a lot of content today and a lot of our extra content also on our platform, which we developed for you to really get an insight. How do I start a business? How do I actually develop an idea? How can I not just develop an idea, but actually turn the idea into a business model? And then that business model perhaps turns into a company, or perhaps you work on a project as an entrepreneur in a bigger corporate. So this is really a fully fledged program, really providing you the skills and the skill set that you need to become an innovator. Without further ado, Timm, let us know why you actually, as the very best soccer club in Germany, and not just Germany, I think in Europe, Eintracht Frankfurt, why are you actually joining forces with TechQuartier? Why do you run a program like TechTalent? And yeah, let us know your motivation.
Yeah, thank you very much, Thomas, for your introduction. So also warm welcome from Eintracht Frankfurt side, from my side. My name is Timm Jäger. I'm at Eintracht Frankfurt responsible for all strategic digital projects. I work there as advisor to the executive board, Referent des Vorstands, as it's called in German. And I'm really happy to have you now here within our second edition of TechTalents, the first one, which is done due to Corona, totally digitally. Yeah, I'm really happy, and also a warm welcome out there to all of the guys and girls who are joining us from all over the world. I mean, we have participants here from the United States, we have someone here from Singapore, also a warm welcome to the students from Sweden, Austria, Portugal, Italy. Yeah, we are very, very happy to have such an international community here in our TechTalents edition. That's really, really awesome. So why are we doing that as Eintracht Frankfurt together with TechQuartier? I mean, you might think, okay, football, and to the guys in the United States, soccer. I prefer football, to be honest. Football is like the most analog thing in the world, you might think. But indeed, it's not. I mean, you know that consuming patterns are changing, the business is changing, the total industry is changing, and this also affects football. So for example, you will learn a lot about our digital strategy in our module about the digital strategy of Eintracht Frankfurt, so I don't want to go into too much detail because you will learn a lot about that in a specific module of TechTalents. But like to underline, the three most important pillars of revenues for a football club are media spendings, of course, which is at the moment not happening due to Corona. It's sponsoring, which is also at the moment not happening due to Corona. And the third thing is ticketing, which is also not happening due to Corona. So you see now in the crisis, this affects really hardly the football clubs, but also in a time where we have like normal Bundesliga season and EuroLeague season going on. These pillars and also the sources of revenues for Eintracht Frankfurt are not endless. I give you an example. So you see there's an old saying in Germany, I guess it's the same in some other countries regarding football, so money scores goals. Actually it's true, because the more money you have, the better players you can buy. And you have seen that this year, for example, in the Champions League, in the group stage. In every group, doesn't matter in which one, the two teams who had the most budget for players proceed to the knockout phase. So there was not only one team who had less budget than another one who went to the knockout stage. So this really proves that saying money scores goals is true. And if you have a look at the three pillars that I just mentioned, the problem is media spending, at least in Germany, is done centrally. So you get more TV money if you end up in a season on a higher position. That means how do you finish, like for example, first in the Bundesliga? I mean, you see that in the case of Bayern Munich, they're doing really a great job in the past years, and they spend the most money on their players. And you see that also on number 2, number 3, Borussia Dortmund, RB Leipzig. You see that really money has an effect on how you finish in the Bundesliga season. And if you have that in mind, you see that, of course, the most important pillar, which is the TV spendings and TV money you get as a club, depends on your sports performance. Therefore, it depends on how much money you have. Second one is sponsoring. I mean, we at Eintracht Frankfurt since some years are really performing well on the pitch, but also besides of the pitch, and therefore also within sponsoring we are more or less sold out. So of course we could increase the sponsoring prices for our partners a little bit, but I mean this is not a big lever, so we are more or less sold out. So therefore no more growth opportunities. And the third pillar is, as I said, ticketing. I mean, we have a stadium for 51,000 people and we have an average attendance of 50,000. So therefore also, of course, we could increase a little bit our prices. We don't want to do that because this would harm our loyal fans. So therefore, there's also not so much growth opportunity. And therefore, if you are in a situation where you want to grow because you want to be more successful on the pitch, you need, in fact, new ways to earn money. And therefore, of course, you could say, and we see that in also some other leagues, also in Germany, you could look for an external investor who gives you more money. We don't want to do that as Eintracht Frankfurt. We would like to grow organically. And therefore, our most important strategy for that is to go digital. To see and to look actively for new business opportunities, new digital business models. And therefore, let's say 2.5 years ago, at the end of 2017, we joined forces with TechQuartier. At that time, actually, we were the first Bundesliga club in Germany who had a structured startup program. And also in Europe, in whole Europe, the third one after Barcelona and Arsenal. So why were we doing that? Because we want to be very close to innovation, the places where innovation happens. This is here in the region TechQuartier, without a doubt. And therefore, exactly, and I had a look at the calendar this morning, it's really an awesome coincidence. This day, 2 years ago, we had our first accelerator program together with TechQuartier here, exactly in this location, where we had more than 15 startups from all over Europe focusing on sports techs. And this is exactly what we want to do. We want to be very close to the startups, to the place where innovation happens, to see what are new technologies, what are new products, what are new business models that we could incorporate as Eintracht Frankfurt. We have then, together with TechQuartier, started our 2-monthly meetup series, Laptop und Leibchen. You will see that this evening. Hope every one of you is joining, perhaps with the afternoon or after work beer in her or his hand. It's also very exciting. I mean, you will see the topics are changing. Tonight we have a very interesting topic which you might also find interesting. And TechTalents is a new program. We're doing that now the second time, the first time last year. And why, as Eintracht Frankfurt, are we doing that? Of course, with all of our digital initiatives that we are doing, and as I said, you will learn a lot about that in our own module for that. I mean, for us, it's very important to be close to you guys because you are the future of potentially also the future workforce of Eintracht Frankfurt. You have the digital know-how. You will learn a lot of know-how here in that course. And therefore, we're really looking forward to getting in touch with you. Also, we offer you guys the opportunity to do an internship at Eintracht Frankfurt, at my department, within the strategy of Eintracht Frankfurt. And yeah, really looking forward to this program with you guys and with our friends from TechQuartier. And also, thank you very much at this point in time to all of the guys who work behind the scenes to make this all happening. Pascal, Sabrina, Melanie, and all of the other guys who make that possible, because also for us, it's a challenge to do everything. I mean, you learned that this morning. Not everything works totally fine at the beginning. The first link didn't work out. So yeah, it's great what the guys and colleagues are doing to realize that. And yeah, looking forward to the next weeks with you.
Thank you very much, Tim. So I suggest we really dive into the program. And I hope that over the next couple of weeks, you really experience what we experienced, because in the last 6 weeks, we turned the entire program around and fully brought it digital. And this is really an entrepreneurial challenge. And this is really fun. I mean, there's a lot of challenges every day, in and out. You face problems, right? But it's really about an entrepreneurial endeavor. And this is exactly what the program is about. It's about developing things. It's about becoming entrepreneurial. It's about learning what to actually do. What is an idea? What is an innovation? What's a technology? And how can I turn a technology into a business model? But let us dive in there, and we prepared some slides to really give you an overview of what we expect from you, and what we actually hope that you will actually do when you jump into that cold water and when you actually start swimming. There's no much lessons that you get, so this is really not a normal university program. You're all students, but this is not a normal university program, so you will not get any credit, but I can promise you, if you really take it serious, this is going to be one of your best experiences that you might have had during your educational career. So first thing is, I would like to pass on to you why actually doing that, and I hope you already know that because you signed up for it. So it seems that you're really a motivated bunch of people, which is great, because this is what you actually need. You need passion, you need dedication when it comes to developing things and building things. And in our world today, I think I can say that building is something of the most important issues or skills. You need to be able actually to turn some of your thoughts into reality. And this is actually what we want to do. And here are some entrepreneurs. I'm not sure if you're actually can see who they are. The faces might look familiar, but they were really young when the pictures were taken, and they're some of the most successful entrepreneurs which we do know today. So you could perhaps guess if you look at the slides. So the one on the left hand with the phone in hand, that's actually Elon Musk. And most probably that rings a bell with most of you when I talk about Elon Musk. He actually did study, so he didn't quit his studies. So he actually did study. He was born and raised in Southern Africa, and then he actually emigrated to the US. Perhaps you read his bio. He was he started developing his first online game when he was 12 already. And then, amongst other, he founded a couple of companies, and really great companies. So he started founding Zip2, for example. That was in the early ages when the internet actually came along. So really when we just started to have the internet. This is times which we cannot really imagine nowadays anymore. He founded or co-founded PayPal alongside with Peter Thiel. And then perhaps you most probably know his current ventures, which is, for example, Tesla, SolarCity being one of them, and SpaceX, of course. So he's not only sticking to the internet, he's now trying to bring people, and he's actually doing that to space, and really successful companies. And this is just one entrepreneur that actually makes a difference in this world for the better. And one of his core topics is actually sustainability, right? So he wants to make the world a livable place again. Of course, he's trying to bring people also to Mars, where perhaps a colony could be set up, but really interesting what this guy does. The one on the right-hand side you see, that's actually Bill Gates, and he's also one of the internet pioneers. So not just only the Internet Explorer that was launched in 1995, but many other things we have to thank him for. He now has his foundation. He supports a lot of really good projects alongside the world, and it's always about innovations, always about new products that are actually there to help society and actually improve the way we live and save lives. Not just save lives, but actually feeling better at the same time. You may wonder who's the guy in the middle. That's not the guy who's that famous, but if I mention the name, then you might perhaps know him. So if you look at the picture, you might think it's Mesut Özil. So I'm not going to say he's going to be the new player of Eintracht Frankfurt. Eintracht, I'm not sure if you'd be happy or not. But he's not. No, it's not Mesut. He looks familiar to him. Interestingly, he died in 1988. And that was actually the year when Mesut was born. This is Enzo Ferrari, a European founder, and he's actually also quite famous for the things that he has done. And I don't have to explain that much about Ferrari, but these are just some entrepreneurs. If you closely look at their bios and how they have done things, how they actually turned their ideas and their dreams and their passion into life and into business models, this is really fascinating to look at. And now the question is, of course, perhaps you're one of those future entrepreneurs, and perhaps your picture we will talk about in the next 5, 10, 15 years. I would really hope so. I know we're setting the bar really high here, becoming an Elon Musk or becoming a Bill Gates, but well, you have to have some goals in life, and if you kind of fail them, then you're most probably still going to be successful. And this is the good news. If you really take it serious, we want to turn you into an entrepreneur like that. And this is all about the program, right? It's really, but we need your help with that. It's not only about us giving you knowledge and giving you the access to the right knowledge to become an entrepreneur. It's also you, right? You really need to take it serious. You need to be willing to actually make that extra step. By actually signing up for the program, you actually showed us that you are willing to do so, but there's going to be a lot of iterations, ups and downs. Sometimes it's said starting a startup or becoming an entrepreneur is like a roller coaster. On one day, it's like, wow, I have a new customer. This is really great. On the next day, it's perhaps, oh, I lost the last customer, or I'm actually losing a supplier. So this is also going to be emotional. If you talk to the alumni of the first program, they can tell you exactly that. So they went through that roller coaster. Developing an idea is a lot of fun, but it also can be frustrating. But this is not what I want to talk about too much, because you will feel it anyway. One core principle is this: yes, we do have substance in the program. We recorded a lot of videos. We really brought along for you the most current topics and theories and the scientific approach of what can you actually do when you want to get your first customers, when you want to sell your idea. So we brought along a lot of the theory, and we developed an own platform where you can actually access those courses. So you will see my face, Tim's face, but also, for example, from really successful people. So we have the former head of product of N26, a fintech company which is actually now a unicorn. We have an interview with Moritz Kreppel, who's actually co-founder of Urban Sports Club, employs now 500 people, and we talked to him for half an hour about how it is actually to turn from a startup into a scale-up. But we have a lot of additional actually lecturers that will tell their stories. For example, Henrik Vers, the founder of Schwarze Dose, an exit he actually put out. No, but not just that, there's many more that you can actually learn from, all in our digital learning environment, but we will come to the details a little later. The core about the program is not only accessing those courses and gathering the knowledge and really understanding the theoretical basics. Perhaps some of you have done that already by participating in courses like that, but the core is really jumping into the cold water, and I cannot stretch that more often. It's really about you have to get going. This is not sitting there and consuming. I'm sitting in front of a TV and listening and actually acquiring the knowledge. Yes, this is some part. You need to know the tools, you need to know the methods, but this is really about you getting out of the building. And you, for example, when you started working on the first idea, this is about finding teammates. Yes, that might be challenging if you do that online. Yeah, it's not too easy to find teammates online, but we want to provide you, for example, with a tool which is called Brain Cloud, where you can actually find similar ideas, and then you can chat to those people over our communication hub. This is also about acquiring customers, which means you need to talk to customers. This is not just only about PowerPoint and concepts, it's really about getting out there. Because what we can all do, and this is why we're studying, we can all have a lot of good ideas and good concepts, but the interesting, and this is actually what distinguishes Elon Musk, Bill Gates, Enzo Ferrari, the interesting thing is really putting ideas to life, making them practical. And you will face a lot of resistance. There will be people perhaps telling you, the idea exists already, it's been there before, there's no market for it. But if you really believe in it and then in a smart way test the idea and really jump into that cold water and start swimming, then perhaps that idea can actually turn into a real business. And perhaps out of the 100 participants, we will see some real entrepreneurs after the 2 months. We know it's challenging, right? But perhaps we will see some of you really succeeding. But if you fail, that's also totally fine, right? As you know, 9 out of 10 startups fail. And this is the perfect learning environment for you, the perfect way to actually test out your idea. And if you fail, that's not a problem, but don't see it as a failure. Rather, see it as a learning journey. This is really about, okay, now I know a little more than I knew previously. And many of the entrepreneurs that I do know, they failed quite often. But you don't really hear about that. You hear about the success stories. So jumping into the cold water, you will not be the perfect swimmer from moment one, but you will learn over time. And if you practice, the more you practice, the better you actually get. So as I said, or Tim said it actually, it's the second edition that we have of TechTalent. The first one, we actually only selected 30 students and had a lot of on-site sessions where we actually brought them together. This is now fully turned digital, and I think it's even better than it was previously. Perhaps some of the things like exchanging ideas will not be as smoothly as when you sit down together. However, the really good thing is that we have all the tools to support you to work on your ideas. Not just consume, as I said, the videos, but really engage with potential teammates. There are 100 other students that want to do the same thing as you, and perhaps if you align with them, if you exchange with them, you will find your teammate that'll actually be your co-founder. Elon Musk had his co-founder that was his brother. But it's really also about forming partnerships, right? And this is exactly the platform where you can do that. And as I said, digital, yes, to some extent means some limitations, but I think it's a huge opportunity because we now can actually let people participate from all over the world. We have people from Sweden, we have people from Italy, from the US, from Singapore, so really all over the world. And this is really great for generating new ideas. So let us go a little more into detail of what you can actually expect content-wise. So we actually generated over the past 6 weeks a lot of content for you. That is supposed to be that part which you can actually consume. So this is not a physical session. This is not going to be a live session where you hear Tim, me, others talking all the time. This is recorded. And you will be able to access that through our platform. And this is the classes that you can see. It's three-folded. The first is you will learn how to develop an idea. And the first thing you need for that is a bit of a context. So what actually are the chances that technology brings along, right? So historically, we're talking about technology since 200 and 250 years, and it has changed so many things. But not just the steam engine and how we actually, or the internal combustion engine and things like this is really about the modern technologies. We're talking about artificial intelligence. We're going to talk about what can you actually do when it comes to setting up a platform or leverage customer data. All those technology features will be discussed in this first part. But not only that, you will learn, if you do not know already, how to actually acquire customers, develop an idea alongside with the customers. So it's not only you developing the idea, really try to build customer empathy for your idea and try to develop the solution with the customer, alongside with the customers. Think in business models. So a product is the one thing. It's great to have a product, but a product is worth nothing if there's no business model behind it. What are the revenue streams? What's the actual value proposition? What's your unfair advantage? So why are you so much better than potential competitors? This is going to be the first block. The second one is how to build a product. So it's great and it's nice to have an idea, to have something in mind that's really sharp and that really fits the customer needs and where you actually have a so-called product market fit. But the interesting thing is then that you turn that into products. And there we have different sessions. As I said, Markus Müller, former head of N26, he'll give a session, or he has given a session that was recorded, where it's about the 11 pitfalls of building products. He'll let you know why products actually fail and what you can actually do better. So he'll pass on his knowledge that he gathered. He was one of the first employees of N26, and he built a major part of that product. But not just him. There's also going to be Tamai that's going to talk about rapid prototyping. So how can I test my hypotheses that I have, my assumptions about the future really fast, to learn really fast. Second part is really about how to build a product. The third is then how to sell and grow. So it's not enough to only have an idea. It's not enough to only have a product and the business model. You actually need to bring that idea and the entire business model to the market. And one of the bigger mistakes of entrepreneurs is actually that they are in love with the product. And that's great. It's not a mistake in that sense. But the problem is they're waiting for customers to come. They think my product is so great, the customers will come in anyway. But that's not the case. You really need to sell your idea, and you need to have the right techniques to sell that idea. Your product may be great, and it's good that you're in love with it, but you need to actually be able to sell. And of course, it's not only about selling the product, but it's about growing. It's about growing the company, growing the idea. Friedhelm Schmidt, for example, founder of Finsight, more than 70 employees. He was one of the company was one of the fastest growing startups in the past years here in the Frankfurt area. He will give you or pass on to you his lessons from start to scale. So how can I actually scale an organization? Because the initial phase might be nice. It's really about recognizing opportunities, turning that into products. But at some point, you need to really have a process in the company. You need to start scaling, and you need to hire people. Then it's more about leadership and managing the people, and less about developing the idea. These are the three classes with a lot of chapters that we will provide you with. We actually have so-called micro-learning formats, so the videos are mostly short, around 5 to 15 minutes. You can consume them. Quizzes follow after every single course. This is the part which we call the tool set. So the classes really give you the tool set that you need to develop an idea and to start a business. But then don't forget the major part. This is about consuming, right? This is about understanding the theory behind it, understanding the heuristics that actually famous entrepreneurs did apply. And this is all based on practical insights and science. But the interesting thing is actually working on the challenges. And this is about you being entrepreneurial. We don't know the solution there. So if you ask us, we will have feedback sessions. Timm will be there, I will be there, Melanie, Sabrina will be there. But don't expect us to give you the answers for your problems, right? We can only be the sparring partner and the coach. We can give you feedback and let you learn from our experience. But we haven't been in that situation. So if you develop an idea, we don't know the answer there. We can give you some techniques, but you will have to solve the problems yourself. So working on that concrete challenge, that's actually the part that we expect you to do. And this is about turning an idea into a product. And we will also give you some access to Code Door, which is actually a learning environment for becoming a coder. So if you have to develop a product and it needs to be a digital product, then of course you should know how to code. And accessing Coding Door, where you really learn a lot about how to code, will perhaps help you to turn your ideas not just into concept, but actually into real products. I just want to emphasize that once more. If you think of becoming an entrepreneur, as I said, it's a roller coaster. It's a lot of ups and downs. And you might feel like that over the next weeks. And I really urge you keep on doing or keep on passing that journey because there are ups and downs. And this is really a playground for you to learn. And that's exactly why you should actually finish those 2 weeks on time with a great solution. So this will be also your journey. So it's not the entrepreneur's journey, it's also your journey. Perhaps in the very beginning you most probably won't find a teammate right away, and then it's hard to actually connect with a teammate digitally. No, right? See it that way. It's a chance, right? And in the end perhaps you stay solo, and perhaps that's even better, right? That's also a chance for you. Or perhaps you find other teammates that you work with. It doesn't have to be necessarily one of the participants. Perhaps some others can help you. You can leverage your partnerships that you do have there. We really want to turn ideas into practice, right? And as I said, it's going to be ups and downs. It's iterations. And the faster you learn, the more probable is going to be your success. In the end, of course, there will be an end. No entrepreneurial journey is actually ending. You need to take that for granted. So every entrepreneurial journey goes on. So if you start if you really decide for starting your entrepreneurial endeavor, at some point you will realize where's the end. There is no end. It's always about improving things, making things better. But for this program, there's an end. And that end is actually the demo day, which we will have in June. Most probably also digital. On the 19th of June we will have that, and the good thing is we will also have prize money. So it's not only about your effort that you're putting in there and seeing your own success because you bring products to life, and then this is actually great. When you launch a product, when you see that people like it, when there's the first traction, for example, of people, and you get initial good feedback, this is really when your work pays off. So that's the intrinsic motivation that you expect you to have. However, we also would like to thank DZ Bank, which is one of our partners, for actually granting a prize money. So they said, we want to actually give the 5 ideas that we like most, all of us like most, a prize money of €1,000. So this is also a chance to earn some extra credit and some money. Well, it's €1,000 per idea. And the criteria we will talk about a little later. Melanie and Sabrina will do that. It's about, for example, the maturity of the idea, the degree of innovation. So with maturity, we mean how far are you? So we don't want a PowerPoint from you in the end. Right? That's not what we expect from you. We don't want a concept. We really want an MVP or perhaps even a product with initial customers. Setting the bar high. But this is actually the evaluation criteria that we set up for the prize money, and that will be awarded on the 19th of June. But we hope you're not only motivated by the prize money. So 99% of your motivation should really come from, I want to learn, I want to try that, and I really want to become an entrepreneur. But I think it's a nice way that one of the partners actually sponsors and says, yes, we will also want to support the ones that really got far down the road. And of course, we will do that with Tim said it, perhaps with a virtual beer already this evening. So there should be a lot of fun. This is also very important. I'm trying to set the bar high, yes, but it's also about a lot of fun. So if you connect, you meet new people, you meet us, you get insights, and so on and so forth. So let us come to the challenges before we actually go on with the next session. So what's important for you to know, now I talked about challenges, business challenges, and we actually talked about what are the challenges that we want you to solve. And we gave that quite some thought. With challenges, we mean actually, this is kind of the playground. We're setting actually the stage for you, and this is where you can start developing ideas. As you will learn in the classes, developing ideas is very important and very often started when it's about solving problems. Your own problems of potential customers. This is a very good starting point. And we actually sat down and thought, what are the biggest global challenges we currently see? And there was a huge list, right? Yes, technology has improved our lives, but not just the crisis, but there are so many problems, global problems actually remaining that need solutions. And that's why Eintracht and TechQuartier said, let's pick out 3 where we think in times of a crisis they're most relevant, and that's really put you onto those challenges and work on solutions with us with regards to that challenges. The first one, you may not be surprised, but currently we're in the middle of a health crisis, which also means it's not just a crisis, but it means a lot of chances. The entire medical area is changing currently. The entire pharmaceutical area is changing. But this is not only about developing new medical devices, for example. It's also about, for example, what are digital solutions? Not only talking about contact tracing and stuff like that, but really try to think, what is the future medical world? Not only post-crisis, but perhaps in the next 5-10 years. Start with that. What is the medical world? How are patients actually treated? How do we actually stay healthy? And from this starting point, you can actually deduct, okay, but what can I do, and this is important, in the next 2 months to come up with a solution that perhaps may be part of that world in 5 years. So it really needs to be feasible, right? Think of a solution that you can actually develop within the next 2 months that is part of that world, how it will look like in the next 5 months. And as I said, think of problems, and there are a lot of medical problems currently. We don't want to talk too much in detail about all of them, but there are. And you most probably also know by talking to friends, reading the newspapers and stuff like that. Second challenge, and this is kind of the challenge that we also went through in the last six weeks, is online education and knowledge access. So really think of what are future worlds, what is the future world actually of translating knowledge? Are there other digital solutions than the ones that we know? Perhaps you took courses at Coursera, Udacity, and so on. There's a lot of online solutions already. But the question is, what is a new solution? What are new digital formats? What's the new knowledge world actually? How can I pass on knowledge? Perhaps it's more peer-to-peer learning. Perhaps it's other formats. Challenge number 2 is really all about knowledge gathering and education. Second part. Third part is industry innovation for the better. Sustainability, and this is one of our favorite topics. We also set up here at TechQuartier a Green Tech Hub. But just think of it, if you think of the pandemic currently, the entire globe is acting, and they're acting immediately. And this is interesting that it has an effect on the correlation actually to the reduction of CO2 emissions is high, right? People are flying less, they're taking the car less. So there's an actual impact. You can actually see that from space, that pollution is decreasing currently heavily. But that's not just it, right? It's a short-term thing, or perhaps a little longer. But what are actually technologies that we can use to actually make that a long-term trend, to really change the world for the better when it comes to sustainability? And this is a huge field. Yesterday we talked, for example, also in an online session to an entrepreneur, Gemma Green from Australia. She uses blockchain to actually trade energy. So she's giving the power to the people to trade energy, decentralizing energy. That's a very good thought. But there's many more solutions when it comes to actually sustainability. These are the three challenges, and you can pick either one of those. If you relate, for example, more to the health world, great, go into that direction. If you relate more to online education, go into that direction. Or perhaps you can even combine the different challenges. This is your challenge, right? The first step will be 3, and we framed it quite broadly. So there are 3 fields that you can become active in. And now it's really about following the process and starting, okay, first, what fits best to me or to you, right? What's your problem that you always wanted to have solved, or what's the global problem that you always wanted to have solved? And always think of feasibility. It needs to be a solution that is solvable in the next 2 months. So really bring it down to the ground and think of, what can I start on working right now? What can I test with customers? These are the challenges that we want you to solve, and as we said, we're highly interested in them as well. So if you want and need feedback, then always feel free to do so. Tim mentioned it already. You thanked our team, everybody that has been working on that, and it's actually not a lot of people that have been working on that, and that's why our gratitude actually goes to them. Here you see them. These are the people that you're going to contact and to work with in the next couple of weeks. Melanie and Sabrina, you already read their emails, which they sent to you yesterday. They are going to be a main point of contact when it comes to everything organization, operational, but they will also give you feedback when it comes to their ideas. Tim and me, you will not only see today, you will see us throughout the program. This is very important to us. We want to be close to you. We will also be joining some of the feedback sessions, and if there's extra and additional things that you want to have answered, then of course come also to us. This is the team. Pascal, he's our technical guy, but not just that, he's also a founder of a company, so he will also be the expert giving you feedback. So he developed the platform, by the way, that you're going to be enrolling when it comes to the classes. So a special thanks also to Pascal and Lexemo. They've been the technology partner setting up really in day and night sessions the entire platform that you're going to work on, that you're going to take the classes. And one of the participants, actually Cristian, he's currently an intern here in TechQuartier, Cristian Frigo, he also thoroughly helped us to set up that entire thing. And this is the team that you're going to work with. We know digital is not, we cannot connect physically, but we wanted you to see the faces, we wanted you to see the people that you're going to work with. And now we're almost at the end. We hope you got an insight what we expect from you. As I said, this is really, really about you. We want to provide a platform for you to become an entrepreneur, really use that chance. And it's, I think, great that we now have the chance to run it fully digital because we have so many different participants. It's a chance for you to connect with the different people. Use BrainCloud to actually share your idea. Use the communication hub. Enter a code. The more you put in, the more you can actually take out. And this is the most important message. Becoming an entrepreneur, nobody will really help you. It's all about you, and it's about your journey. And we hope you really have fun. Yeah. And I think that's the most important thing to say. Have fun and stay happy. Not only healthy, but stay happy. Tim.
Perfect. Yeah, I totally can underline what Thomas just said. I mean, the first edition has proven that there's more than just a program, because what we set up afterwards, and this is also one of our ambitions that we are following, is to build up a community, right? So if the program after 2 months is over, it doesn't necessarily mean that you will never hear something from us again, right? So we had an alumni session at our stadium where you get to learn a little bit more about Eintracht Frankfurt. Of course, everyone is invited to join every time Laptop und Leibchen. Of course, as Thomas just mentioned, they have an intern coming from the first edition of TechTalents. We also had an intern already coming from TechTalents. So there's plenty of opportunities for you guys to stay in touch with us, also to join TechQuartier, to join Eintracht Frankfurt, and we're looking forward to that, and also to the next weeks. And I'm pretty sure, and I totally would like to underline that, of course, the program will be totally digital, but as I said, the program and the whole community won't be over after 2 months. I'm totally convinced that we will see each other again here at TechQuartier at our stadium to have a beer, an apple wine together, to really discuss face to face. And besides the fact that we are all totally digital and enjoying that in a digital world, I mean, the analog thing to get in touch with each other is also a little bit more intense, and the community building is a little bit more intense when it's coming to the analog world. So really looking forward to that, to stay in touch with you, not only during these 2 months, but also in the upcoming months and perhaps also years.
So what's going to happen now? You have a couple of minutes left, not that many, but a couple of minutes left to actually log on to the next platform, and there is going to be about the details. So this is about what are the courses exactly. I tried to give it to you on a meta level and explain the challenges and so on and so forth. But now in the next session where you actually dial in, then you will see the platform, that we will run you through the platform. Sabrina and Melanie will do. So actually you will learn all the details with regards to the milestones. For example, when do you have to submit what? We really gave you a structure that is supposed, you have to upload certain documents at a certain point in time. And this will also be part of the next session. So there is no questions right now, but I'm quite sure you have a lot of questions, because this is always the case. And we will have Q&A sessions, of course. If there are questions, then yeah, write an email or use the communication hub. There are a lot of forums that you can actually use to post your questions. And don't be shy. Really, being an entrepreneur is about asking questions and interacting amongst each other, but also with us. If it's not clear what you have to do, then ask the questions. Asking questions is one thing, but then of course giving the answer with a great solution is the second. And we really are quite confident that there will be some great entrepreneurs among you. So have fun starting that journey, and yeah, we will see you very soon, latest at 1 with a session with Hannes Offenbacher, and in the evening for Laptop und Leibchen. Thank you.
Thank you.